I just asked Stephen to count for me. And you just want to count to 10 for me?
I do know how to count.
No, count to 10. As
One.
in, no, time. I wanted you to time something for me. So do it now.
1, 2,
That's
3,
not how you did it.
4, 5.
This is how you did it. You went, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I actually said, have you heard of Mississippi?
Yeah, but I don't count that way, mate.
It was a measure of time.
Okay. Look, I don't want to get into the weeds here, but that's how I count. And how many times in boxing has there been disputes over how fast the referees counted as well? Like
It's a brutal sport I've never watched.
So,
mainly because I don't
luckily
understand.
it wasn't you getting punched in the head; it was you putting your earphones in.
How
Is
was
that
boxing
right?
scored?
I think a number of blows landed. So landed
is the position of the
body,
blow.
Yeah,
worth
well,
more?
if
a headshot
if
worth
your
more?
punches land more than misses, then that's
No,
counts.
but does headshots count higher numbers than body?
I don't think so. No,
Really?
no. It's punches landed. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
and I think I don't know, maybe even punches that you've avoided as well. But no, I think it's all about punches landed, and that's the scorecard. So everyone sort of gets the. It's very rare to see 3 judges differing greatly when judging a fight.
Just
There's been
blokes
some
counting.
famous cases where that has been.
Yeah.
But generally, mate, I don't mean put myself out there as an expert, but I knew my great mate who I worked with at the Telegraph. He's an author now. He writes books on Flinders and all these great guys. Grantley Keyser. Shout out to Grantley.
Okay.
He's one of the best writers I've worked with, but was in Jeff Fennick's corner as well when he was coming up.
Yep.
And
That's like being in your entourage.
Yeah, well, no, but he was his corner man as well. But he's also the boxing writer at News Limited for years and an absolute expert on the sport. He's the go-to guy. If you want a boxing expert, GK is your man.
Got you sorted.
Yeah. Really good bloke. Shout out to GK. Good bloke.
Good on you, GK. Thanks for watching. I don't think he is.
I think he listens because he does like my Facebook posts about all my podcasts.
That doesn't mean he listens.
Don't know if he presses play on them, though.
Yeah, I was just going to
this
say.
will test him out, won't it? This will test him.
And it's early in the show. You've only had to listen for 2.5 minutes.
You've only got to listen for 3 minutes and you're out.
It's not even a round.
Seconds out. Seconds down.
What's a round of boxing? 3 minutes?
3 minutes, yeah.
How's my knowledge?
3 minute round, yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Big.
That's at the height of my powers.
Speaking of boxing, can I mention?
Oh, no.
Speaking of boxing,
Yep.
I was very saddened to hear of Carl Weathers' death. Carl Weathers, who played Apollo Creed in the Rocky films.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, very sad to hear. Like you hear a lot of celebrities and passing away, and he at the start, like what happened? I'd just done my Sky News segment, and I'm thinking there's this package on Carl Weathers. So what's Carl Weathers done? I said, oh please don't say he's died. And they go, yeah, he passed away peacefully. I'm thinking, oh, damn. And no one, I didn't know what happened to him. I think he must have had some illness that he kept secret, and he passed away in his sleep. And I think he was 78. And yeah, it was very sad because he not only was in Rocky, but he's also in Predator, which is a favourite movie of mine, and in The Mandalorian. So how's that for a fan crossover for me?
Wow, that's
I'm a
massive
Rocky
for
fan
you.
and a Star Wars fan, and Carl Weathers was in both. So... yeah, rest in peace, Carl Weathers. Some great. What a great character he played. Apollo Creed in the Rocky movies. Absolutely,
It's interesting though, isn't it? Because you think about the impact of different people's passing, celebrity style, on different people. Some people are whatever.
Yeah,
sad,
no,
but whatever.
I was sad to be. I even posted something on social media. The thing I posted was, if anyone who knows Rocky as well as me, at the end of Rocky 3. When he says, look, because he trains Rocky, and he goes, after this, you owe me a favour. And the favour that he owed him, he goes, look, you Rocky beat Apollo Creed by 1 second in Rocky 2, and he goes, look, I just want you and me in a room, no press, nothing, you and me, and I just want to see who's the better fighter. And one line he says, he goes, you know what, Stallion, it's a shame we've got to get old. And he goes, well, you want to ring the bell? And he famously went, ding, ding. And that's the quote that I pulled out with his photo it is a shame you've got to get old. And unfortunately, he's passed away. But great, you know what? He was great memories of my childhood watching the Rocky films growing up. It was fantastic.
That's the thing. It's like we've talked about music, we've talked on the private and stuff where things have this really bigger impact on you at different times of your life based on what you're doing.
Absolutely
The
right. He was in
stage of your
Predator.
life.
He was in Predator as well with Arnie. And
Sure he
which we've
was.
done on our show, by the way. We've done
Have
on
we?
the last the best movies you've never seen.
Okay.
And he was Dylan. He played the character Dylan in that. So he was loved him in Rocky, loved him in Predator, loved him in The Mandalorian. He was a former professional footballer too.
Right.
Yeah. So
Well,
quite a career,
you
quite
can
a life.
listen
Carl
back
Weathers.
to that show on the best movies you've never seen.
Yes.
That full podcast
We've got
series.
127 movies in the catalogue.
That's a lot, and
Actually,
they're all
128
available.
now. 128.
They're available in this feed, but they're also available just directly if you search for the best movies you've never seen. Also, officially,
Yes.
as of this week, Two Blokes Talking Electric Cars, thanks to NRMA
Vroom,
Insurance and Uniden dash cams. We'll release that. So that went out That went out on Wednesday morning.
Yep.
Unusually, it wasn't meant to be there.
Yeah.
That was an agreement for the release.
Really dudded tech guide coming into the feed the night before too, by the way, but that's okay.
It does
I
EFTM
came in-
as well on the back end.
On Wednesday night you
Yeah.
come in, eh? Well, we both got dudded this week, but what do you do?
So is the plan Monday?
Monday I thought
morning.
was EV, yeah.
But we're going to go Monday morning, so they've got
Yes.
something to wake up to.
Correct.
Okay.
Every day
Two
except
Blokes,
Sunday.
So in the Two Blokes Talking Tech podcast feed,
Yes.
you will get Two Blokes Talking Electric Cars on Monday morning. And I think
Tuesday morning. Tuesday you get tech guide.
I think you'll get the Electric Car Show at Monday morning in the Electric Car Show feed as well. I'm not doing separate days.
Yes. So you'll get.
my
So
head
what,
is
let's
too-
go through the line.
All right, let's go.
EVs
Hang on, sorry, what is
Monday.
it? This is the best
Best
value podcast
channel
feed channel
in the world.
in the world. There it is.
Yes. There you go.
Monday.
Mondays EV podcast.
Yeah, but Two Blokes Talking Electric Cars. Tuesdays,
Tech guide.
Wednesdays.
Brilliant podcast. A little one called EFTM. That's Trevor's one. Thursdays is Two Blokes.
This one.
Hello. This for everyone. Yeah.
Fridays.
The private feed.
Private feed. My wife heard about that for the first time recently. I said, we
private
talked about
feed.
it in the private feed. And she was like, the private feed? I went, we just talk rubbish.
Yeah, my wife's heard a couple of private feeds.
Yeah.
At my urging. She
Are
goes,
you
really?
urging? I
said,
would never urge my
we
wife.
spoke about you. We mentioned you. And she goes, oh, what? And then I press play. And then she listens to the whole show.
Wow, that
That's
would
how
never
good,
happen
That's
in my
how
house.
good we are, mate. We can
Saturdays,
the best movies you've never seen.
Sundays, Two Blokes Talking God.
Yeah, it's we have a day of rest on Sunday.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I thought we were looking for a sponsor.
Hey.
Hey?
No, I think we all need a day off. God needed a day off, mate. Even God rested on Sunday, so I think we should too.
Okay.
You know?
We'll stick with it.
So that's pretty good, eh? Pretty good lineup of shows there. And also, of course, you can listen to all those shows in their respective feeds. So Two Blokes has its own feed with all this in it, but Tech Guide has its own feed. EFTM has its own feed. The Electric Car Podcast has its own feed, as does the Best Movies You've Never Seen. So I'd love all of you to go to those respective feeds, subscribe to them maybe, I don't know. Leave some good comments, some reviews.
5 stars.
That helps us, 5 stars or nothing. Go big or go home. Come on. That helps us all, doesn't it? So all this great value we're giving you for nothing. Free. We always we give you our time and our knowledge for nothing. All we ask is your time to listen to it.
What do you reckon it's worth?
Look, I know what I charge per hour, mate, so I don't know if you're up with me. But,
I don't get out of bed for listen.
Yeah.
I do have a number.
Look, I got to say,
There is a number because when I get out of bed, I know what I'm earning.
Exactly right. But, we love doing it. We've been doing it. We're coming up to our anniversary, mate, the Two Blokes anniversary.
We must because I renewed the domain name this week.
Do we have
Which
a
we don't
domain
even
name?
use. Yes,
Do we have a domain name?
TwoBlokesTalkingTech.com.
Really? Wow.
I register everything
Best
so that someone
kept
else
secret
so
in
that
technology.
someone else can't register it.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, it's
In fact, where does it go?
coming up to 13 years.
Two Blokes.
13 is it the February the 22nd, isn't it? Or 24th? 22nd.
TwoBlokesTalkingTech.com.
Yep.
I don't know if it goes anywhere, actually. It's good content. Don't think it goes anywhere.
Yeah.
22nd or 23rd.
Yeah. It's coming up to the lucky 13-year anniversary. Yeah. So we're in our 14th year of podcasting.
We'll go into our 14th year, yes. It sounds more exciting when we're going into our 15th, I think.
People's marriages haven't lasted that long. Some
Well,
marriages haven't lasted that long. Yours and ours has.
Going strong.
We're still married from our podcast.
It'd be
start
super
of our
awkward
podcast.
if we weren't.
Trevor's even had a child in the interim as well.
That is wild.
Your son is now what, 13, 14?
12.
He's 12, okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
My
He'll be
daughter's
13 this year.
Yes.
Wow. So you'll have teenagers all the way through, mate.
I've got high schoolers and nothing else now.
There you go,
Yeah.
mate. Jeez. You're an old man, aren't you?
Preparing to
None
be a
of my
grandfather.
kids are at school, though. I
Let's
am
go.
not. Don't be starting that rumour, mate. I'm not. Nowhere near being
He
a
still
grandfather.
says to his kids when they leave the house, don't add to the population, don't subtract from the population, don't end up in jail. And if you do end up in jail, establish dominance early.
That's not what we say at home, but we just say, no, don't take any chances. Just make sure you're doing what you're doing because you want to do it.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amanda just outright says, I don't want to be a grandma.
Don't want any nasty surprises.
Anyway, Two Blokes Talking Tech, that's what we're here for.
Welcome to Two Blokes Talking Tech
Not a bad price.
with Trevor Long from EFTM.com
Really handy device.
and Stephen Fennick from techguide.com.au.
Episode 618, thanks to the great people at Arlo and Netgear. For all your home security needs, Arlo's got you covered. 619. 619.
Trevor hasn't got his glasses on. 619 episode, as it says on the title of this podcast.
If you can read Stephen's writing.
It's not actually your writing at the top.
That is actually
That's your writing. Trevor had prepared the list and I just filled in the gaps.
I don't get any credit for pre-preparing the pad.
That's great. I reckon you should just photocopy it and just have it in your drawer.
But but I would do that, but you love your little notepads.
I know, it's my notepad that I've had here. I leave it here now, don't I?
You love your little notepad.
It's good.
Otherwise, we could just use
You know where that's from?
the CES.
CES, yeah. They don't give them out anymore. So I made sure I grabbed a whole bunch of them. I got a lifetime supply of them. I grabbed a whole bunch. Yeah.
Anyway, thanks to Arlo for home security and Netgear for home networking. That is Two Blokes Talking Tech, episode 619. We have a lot to cover for you today, and we're going to start with the Samsung Galaxy S24. Not because it's just been announced, no, because it's now available.
It's available to buy.
I was walking through Sydney Airport yesterday morning as you listen on the 7th, and I noticed the JB Hi-Fi there had little signs up, Galaxy S24 available now. So this is it's there
official.
now. I had a caller this week on the EFTM podcast asking about to trade-ins and I said, mate, you've got like 12 hours to pre-order, so you better hurry up.
Better late than never. Yeah, right.
But yeah, people are still keen. So we've had a good chance to muck around with them. We got the Ultra to more likely review, but the other two, the S24 and the S24 Plus, to really, for me, I said I absolutely have to see them and hold them and get a sense of them because we saw them at the launch event. But man, I'm just going to say straight up, I think they're the best phones that Samsung's ever made design wise.
Yeah, they're nice, very nice.
The 24 and the 24 Plus.
Yeah, nice. And you prefer a smaller phone too. So given if you had to choose one to use, you'd go the S24 Plus or the 24?
I would go. This is what's happened to me this year is I've become a plus guy.
Right.
Not just plus size. I've become a plus guy with phones because I love the 5x lens on the iPhone.
Yes.
I ended up sticking with the Max.
Yep. And
so
Trev normally likes a little phone.
I normally prefer the standard size.
Yep.
So the S24 is within microns, the exact same size as an iPhone 15.
Yeah.
And the S24 Plus is within microns, the exact same size as an iPhone Plus or Max.
Yeah.
Like it is
and the Ultra
unbelievable.
Well,
let's just talk about those two first because the Ultra, I see it as being like the cousin in the S24 range. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit.
It's
so the two 24s, the 24 and 24 Plus, are this very clear design, squared edges. They look like an iPhone.
They do,
with vertical cameras.
But yet, you know what? Do you think this year, though, I remember in the past when Gary was running the show, he would tell us that the Ultras were like 70% of what they sold.
No doubt. And I'm
do you
sure
that's going to happen again here?
I think a lot of it is the pre-sales, though.
Yeah.
I think a lot of those quotes come from pre-sales.
Right.
And I've got no doubt that people that or pre-order up are buying the Ultras.
They're probably the more premium. If you're going to pre-order a phone, you were a fan to begin with, and
That's
you
right.
wanted a certain model.
That's it.
Likely to be the Ultra.
You want to be at the front of the queue. You're probably spending
and you know
good
what?
money.
I love that Samsung. If you pre-order, you get the phone early,
mate.
They've been out a week ago.
Yeah.
Weren't they?
They were.
Yeah.
And I love that. I do. I respect that as well because it's like, and Gary, again, and I haven't spoken to Eric, so I'm not having anything negative to say about the current crop. It's just we're drawing on things we've spoken about before. But Gary used to say that was just, it's in stock. It's in the country.
Yeah.
Why keep it in a warehouse when we can surprise and delight our customers?
Exactly.
Because you're expecting it on. It's like, anything. I'm waiting for a car. When we're waiting for our cars, if it came earlier, you'd be like, this is awesome.
Hello, yeah, it's
same
great.
with the phone, same with anything.
Under promise, over deliver sort of thing, isn't
Spectacular.
it? Do you remember a couple of years ago when they released the S22?
What happened?
And we said, you and I had a briefing together with them, and we said, why don't you bring this out on the 22nd?
Yeah.
And it's the 22nd, 2022. It's all twos. And I think it was planned for like early March. And what happened, they had the stock, and some customers got it on the 22nd.
Yeah.
I know a couple of my readers said, yeah, my phone's arrived on the 22nd. Like you said, they've done it.
But let's just talk about the Ultra then. Yeah. Don't you think it's strange how vastly different it is? What I've been saying, I said in a little video, was like in the end, it's like they can't let go of the Note.
Yeah, but I think with good reason. There's
Why
a
can't
lot
that
of people
have square edges and a flat screen and the same
I just
rounded
think
tops?
it needs to have its own character. It's got its own
Why?
character because it is the best of the best. It's the
but
premium.
why isn't it called the Note 24 then?
Because the Note brand has gone. It's gone. It's Galaxies now. Galaxy S.
So bring it all back and make it all the one. It just doesn't stand.
I think they've done it the right way.
That's my only complaint this year.
Well, it's a good, better, best sort of scenario, isn't it? Like,
no, but
mate. Although the S23 and 24 Plus, the only difference is the screen size. So the same processor, the same abilities.
Yeah.
S24, I think, has the same processor too. Much bigger screen, 6.8-inch screen.
The Ultra, yep.
Does have the S Pen. Does have the titanium finish as well. So it's similar. You look at the premium, say iPhone has the 15 Pros and Pro Max,
which all look
titanium.
the same. They come from the same family.
Yeah, I know, but the 15 is sort of more. It's
if you
aluminium.
walked into a room and it was full of iPhones, you say, "Oh, it's a family reunion." You walk into a room full of Samsung S24s, and you don't know who fits into the family or not.
You see the similar configuration.
Why
of the cameras.
Are you defending the design?
No, because I think I don't mind how they've done it. They've set it up so that there's no questioning which is the top of the heap.
It's the big one.
Yeah, it's the Ultra. Yeah. Maybe that's how they should market it. It's the big one and the other ones. But I don't mind that they've done that. I think it's if they have the same design and look as the S24 Plus, why would you need this? The Ultra is Ultra because for a couple of reasons. The slight design change, slight design difference, but also the S Pen, and it has, I think, obviously a few more features like the bigger vapor chamber and all that. So, and AI, by the way, is across the board. You're getting the same AI, which we'll get to in a second.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So is that
your only complaint, that the Ultra doesn't look like the other ones?
Mate, that's my only complaint, which is a pretty remarkable thing to say about a phone. I think, and you said this to me before we recorded, it's pretty clear that we think we're aligned on this. This is an unbelievable phone.
Yeah.
It's the current benchmark.
I think the best phone you can buy right now.
Yeah.
I'll go that far.
Yep.
And I even said, and I said this in my review, and I've said it in my commentary in the last few weeks. This has been the phone that's got a lot of people's attention, including iPhone users.
Yes.
I've seen iPhone users look at that and go, "Wow, that's pretty cool."
Yeah.
I've showed them mine. We've had ours since day.
Because you think about it. Let's say, and I'm just going to park the Ultra for a minute, right? Because it is premium in every way, and it's a different design. So let's say you were drawn to the design of the 24 Plus. And you're like, oh, it feels like an iPhone. I'm cool with that. It's good. And then you go, well, the vertical cameras, doesn't matter. Who cares? Yep. But the cameras, look, head-to-head, there's always going to be a way that Apple presents their camera being better and Samsung presenting theirs being better. In everyday life, the only thing that I think sets cameras apart is zoom.
Yes.
Yep. And that's why I have stuck with the Pro Max, because it has the 5x zoom. So when I'm watching the kids play baseball, it's perfect.
Yep.
Now, on the Plus model, I can do
10x. Yeah.
You can do 10x.
Yeah.
Is that optical?
10x is optical, and then they've got the quality
you can go
zoom,
to 30.
which sort of goes in. Well, you go up to 100x zoom.
Not on the Plus, on the Ultra.
The Ultra you can, but I think that's up to 50x on the S24 and 24 Plus.
Right.
Which is a lot, and it's smartly done too. So that's again the AI sort of coming into play there. So between the different focal lengths is where the AI sort of plays it so that it looks okay.
Let's talk about that for a minute before we talk about the AI that's really getting the headlines. Because you remember the last year, there was a lot of controversy because some bloke got a white dot, put it on a wall and zoomed in on it and went, it thinks it's the moon and it's making, it's using AI. It's not a real photo.
So it actually put a photo from the library rather than the actual photo,
It's the moon, folks. It looks the same. Of course they're going to do that. But I took mine and I did a 100 times zoom on a couple of boats at a marina.
Yeah.
Now, with my eye, I could not see what the boat was called. With the 100 times zoom, I could see very clearly on the side of a boat a Cheers logo, as in the TV show Cheers, on the side of a boat.
Yes.
Now,
it's pretty impressive.
What it does is it sees text and what it does is it tries to straighten off the edges and sharpen things up.
Yep.
It's bloody amazing.
It is.
And it's not fake.
I put together my Zoom photo here. That was a photo, I don't know the name of that bridge. It was taken from the St. George Sailing Club.
Tom Uglies?
I don't know. No, it's not Tom
no
Uglies.
idea.
But see look how far I've zoomed in, and you can look at this on Tech Guide. I've zoomed right into one of the columns under the bridge, and look how detailed that photo is. That's taken from a dead set a kilometre away.
Yeah. Well, the other one I took was a photo of a kayaker.
Yeah.
Who was on the other side of the river. And I could barely see there was a kayaker other than it was a big red kayak, right?
Yep.
So again, I took the photo and I zoomed to 100. And mate, what you see at EFTM.com is a water painting. You know, water paintings, how they're big blotches and but it's not a photo it's not about how good the photo is of the person's face. It's about going, look, I was able to take a photo of something, 100x zoom, and work out that it was a red kayak and a red life vest and a blue shirt underneath. It's not meant to be a 100x optical photo.
Yeah.
It's meant to give you detail that you couldn't normally see.
But I'm still impressed, though, with
100%.
Not every 100x zoom photo is a masterpiece, but some, a majority are actually pretty bloody good.
Yeah.
Where the AI is coming into play using that, all those capabilities. It's actually really impressive.
Yeah.
But I do think that that always fascinates me, and the focus lock too. Notice when you zoomed in at 100%, it's kind of locked on your target. Remember before, you're trying to keep it in frame.
Shakes,
it was impossible.
It takes away
now
any shake.
It locks in.
It's actually it actually makes it really. So if you lock in on something, so let's say it was locked in on something the size of my ear there, and I want to zoom across to this part of my cheek. It's actually hard to move the camera because it doesn't want to. It wants to stay on the ear, which is good. But then once you jolt it, it'll move for you. So let's be clear. Camera improvements are not radical year on year.
No.
So if you've got an S20, frankly, if you're an S22 or 23, this is not the phone to upgrade to because you want a better camera.
Correct. But
there
are other reasons to upgrade.
But also there'll be another one next year.
Yeah.
Like that's what you got to remember here. But on the inside is where this thing really comes to life.
Absolutely right. And we're talking about Galaxy AI, and I went through all the features, as did you on your review there. So I like how it's sort of for everyday things like translation. If you're traveling, the Live Translate. Now, Live Translate is part of the phone app. So you don't need, I know a lot of people saying, you can download an app and Pixel does this and all that. You can download all the languages, all that, right? This is happening on the device, real time. It's part of the phone app. You don't have to do anything different. And if the person you're talking to is actually in front of you, I love the interpreter where they can see their side of the screen is facing them, your side of the screen, so you can have a conversation with someone in person, still have the same effect.
Yeah.
That interpreter.
Yeah.
But also too these little details where, and I think this is a case of you didn't realise you needed this until you saw it. Chat Assist. Chat Assist, I reckon, I call this in my review your new messaging safety net.
Right.
Because
is this writing styles?
Yeah, just the tone. It's just the tone of the messages. So if you are texting someone important, your boss, colleague, your
Prime
wife,
Minister,
you want to make sure that your tone isn't misunderstood.
Yeah.
And that you're using the appropriate language and tone.
Again, the narcs of the internet will say, mate, there's an app for that. You can download ChatGPT.
Of course you can.
I actually, and to be clear, I said to a caller yesterday on the EFTM podcast who had an S22 and was looking for all these features, I said, mate, just for the next year, you just download ChatGPT and you can do some of these things rather than going into debt and buying this phone. Okay, it was a complex conversation. But the fact that you can now, what is important here is you can now buy a phone that is beautiful, works well, great camera, great processing power, great screen. And in the keyboard is a button that says, you know what, can you just read that for me and give me a better suggestion?
Yeah.
Whether you're typing a text or an email or just a note, it will rewrite for you. And, mate, it works really well.
Yeah, it's great. And as I said, could be a lifesaver. Could be a career saver.
Every 15th comment when I do anything about this is, they're going to charge for it. There was a report online that potentially in 2025 they'll charge for this feature.
Yeah.
I get it.
So it'll become a subscription feature. Is that what you're saying?
I get it. That's a report. But can we wait until we hear it from Samsung? So I assume that's deep in the terms and conditions, right?
Yeah.
And I'll give you the example. Apple's emergency SOS via satellite is also a subscription feature that is currently free, because essentially what they've done is they've built this thing and they don't know how much it's going to get used and therefore how much it's going to cost to run. I think this is the same because this uses AI is extremely processor intensive. Yeah. The writing assistant stuff needs the internet because it's actually sending, it's not being done on device. If you disconnect from the internet, it doesn't work. Yep. So it's sending off your information securely and privately to a big computer that goes, here's what they should try and say.
Yep.
So Samsung's got to pay for that computing power. Yeah. So I think what they're doing is covering their ass in their terms and conditions or wherever.
Maybe.
To say that maybe, just maybe, we'll need to charge you for this. And look, if people love it that much, maybe they'll pay for it.
Well, I think if it's a feature...
I pay for ChatGPT.
Yeah. Okay, but I think this if it's sort of part of the cost of the phone, these aren't cheap phones. They started,
that's where it becomes a problem.
They start at $1,400. So whether you're not going to see this feature, for example, on a $300 Oppo phone or a Nokia
or an A54.
Yeah. So exactly. So it's part of the cost of doing business. If you're paying extra overs for a phone, it's not just because it looks nice. It's got a nice camera.
If Samsung was to introduce a fee for this, you'd be absolutely against it.
Well, not absolutely against it. I'd be disappointed because you're paying enough for your phone.
Yeah.
And that should be one of the features that draws you to the brand.
Yeah.
Not something that you can, because you know what? I reckon that cheapens the feature, because if I can buy it, why I might want to buy it on an iPhone instead of on a Samsung.
Yeah.
If that's part of the feature of the phone, it's more unique to the phone. So I don't know. It's not. I don't want it to be like an app that you can just download and use on any phone you want.
Yeah.
This is, I think, should be, and
it feels to me it's
part of the device.
Yes.
It's part of the device and how you use it day to day. That I reckon's made this, and I said it in my review, one of the biggest improvements year on year on a smartphone in terms of the software and features that I've ever seen.
Mate, we've missed a trick here. We should have set it up on Samsung Notes to do a transcription of this show and a summary.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great feature too.
Because I think about that, right? You think about meetings at work, or a lot of people go to their volunteers at the local strata or in where they live, or their local community sports club or something, and they're volunteered to do the minutes.
Meetings. I remember recording the meeting. I remember when my old man was crook, I used to have a meeting with the doctors and the nurses, and I used to say, listen, I'm going to record this meeting if you don't mind. I said, no problem. And I would record it so I could hear, if they said something, I could say, what did he mean by this? And I could go back.
Yeah.
So with this, if I did that with the S24, I could get the transcription and it would tell me all the different speakers, their voices, and then I'm able to summarize that, put it in another language, all of that on the device. So that, I think, one of the many features. But another favourite, and I think this was sort of the feature that wowed a lot of people, was the circle to search. Circle to search was, I remember showing this to Joe and I said, listen, if you see this phone, if you got this phone and you see, say you're at the shopping centre and there's a woman with a really nice handbag, normally you'd go over and say, I love your handbag, where'd you get that? With this, you don't have to do that. Just take a photo, circle it, and it'll tell you exactly what handbag it is, how much it costs, where to buy it.
Now, to be clear,
That's just one example.
It was announced by Samsung at the launch. They obviously did a deal with Google to say, we're going to announce this first, because it was only a week later that Google said this is now available on the Pixel. Yeah. Because it's really a Google feature, right? It's an Android feature.
It's got Google right on there in the screen.
It's the newest and best iteration of Google Lens that we've seen. Yeah. The idea of Google Lens is you take a photo of something that knows what it is and it can help you. But, man, that was the example. I published it in my review at EFTM. I took a photo of this boat, and then I had the photo open and I circled a search. It found not what type of boat it is. It found that boat to charter.
Really?
The boat.
Really? The boat that you were taking a photo of?
Yes.
Wow.
It found its charter website.
Wow.
So imagine that. You're sitting there going, wouldn't this be a great boat to hire? Done. Like, mate, it's wild.
That is incredible.
It is, in simple terms, actually just an image search. Yeah. But the fact that Google has been able to go, right, we're able to take a snippet of a screen. Firstly, we've got to remove anything we don't think it needs, like a background.
Yep.
Then we have to send that to our database, and then we need to return the results. And it all happens in the blink of an eye. It's essentially...
Well, it's searching for what you see. That's what I described it.
It feels like the same principles of the very first Google search. Remember, Google search was all set up to be fast.
Yes.
You don't want to have to
And
wait
he used
for the
to tell
results.
you this took 0.6 seconds.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's still in their ethos,
Yeah,
and I think that's
absolutely, yeah.
amazing.
It is. No, it's incredible. And I do like that, like what I said in my review. You search for what you see.
Yeah.
You see something, oh, what's that? And
Yeah.
you've got the answer straight away. Now, quality-wise, I think the camera, we've spoken about how the quality is excellent, but also the AI coming into play to help you edit your photos. The edit suggest is really, really powerful.
Right.
You can, like, how many times and if you want to take the time to do this, good luck to you, but how often have you seen all these other apps to help improve your photos and just sharpen them up and all that, you know? So with this now, edit suggests you can even sort of master the photo, and it does all those things that you would normally take the time to do. And I love how it gives you the option of seeing the before and after. And like more often than not, their edited version looks unreal. Looks way better than your version. Improved. I like too the fact that you can do little simple things like I took a shot of myself and I turned it into a portrait shot, so I blurred the background.
It didn't say, should we take you out of the photo?
No, it didn't.
You really ruined that beach photo, Stephen.
No, it didn't. I'm just trying to actually find the
Thank
photo.
you,
Now.
Samsung.
Did I actually share it? No, there it is. Yeah, come on. No, I didn't
No
actually
one
put
needs
it in.
to see a photo of you. That
I
was
must
a
have
good
taken that
decision.
out.
Or your website has automatically detected.
It's erased me. Yeah, I think I thought I had included that, but there you go.
You clearly did not.
I did it. Yeah, I did
No.
it. Anyway, I have to put it back in.
I
Got Logan in there though. There's a nice photo of Logan in
course.
there. Yeah.
Look, the thing is, we're aligned.
Yeah.
It's the phone to have
Yeah, definitely.
and tough to beat.
Yeah,
And let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Because you talked to in recent weeks on techguide.com.au about the potential for iOS 18 and AI features and all this kind of stuff. We've covered here extensively over several months now.
Yeah.
The absolute urgency, and this would be stock market level urgency. Like if they don't announce AI, Siri AI, at WWDC, then there's something wrong with the company.
Well, the story that I wrote sort of based, like Bloomberg had a report about how Apple's really packing in a massive update for iOS 18.
Yeah.
And the report also suggested that Apple are sort of playing catch up rather than like Tim Cook said, oh, no, we've been working on AI for a long time. Naturally, he'll say that, but the word on the street corner is that they're seeing what everyone else is doing and thinking, okay, we really need to lift our game here.
Yeah.
And the good thing is that they've got, 8 months before they've got to produce the iPhone 16?
Yeah.
So that's a bit of time. But
they've got 3.5 months to have it ready to build the keynote for WWDC.
Well, I'd say that will be the proof. If DubDub delivers what we expect it to deliver, if they can show us at DubDub...
This will be their biggest dub because they have to announce a bunch of Vision Pro improvements and apps and things, and they have to announce AI.
If they don't have AI, we've said this before. If AI isn't in every second sentence at WWDC or their version, whatever they want to call it, right?
Yep.
Then that'll prove to me that that's not something you can just do in 3 months. They've been working on it since the previous version.
Correct.
So I think the fact that the releases of the S24 and the iPhone are at completely opposite ends of the year, this gives them a bit of runway to sort of see what they can, the ball's in their court.
Isn't it also interesting now the timing with, basically first week of February? So you've actually only got October, November, December, January. You've only got 4 months gap between them
Apple
at the
and
other
Samsung.
end of the year.
Yeah,
Apple, then
Apple
Samsung.
have a bigger gap. Yeah, I know.
So you could say Samsung's now essentially ahead of the game because they've now got a 6 to 8 month lead before Apple's next big thing.
And what I did, I saw some stats that on the strength of the iPhone 15, the strong sales, that Apple actually at the end of 2023 took over the top manufacturing slot as the biggest smartphone manufacturer from Samsung. So that they were on the strength of the 15. Now, with the release of the S24, that could shift back to Samsung.
Right.
But Apple's still very much in the game. And I did mention in mine, and I think you've heard me say that there's been a lot of interest from iPhone users who are very impressed with the features of the S24. And I reckon this could attract a few people to change sides.
Yeah.
There'd be I think the power of the device. And look, it's got a great processor, great performance, amazing screen, camera's excellent, AI. It's got everything you need. And at the moment, there's nothing I reckon that's better than this at the moment.
Full review and details, techguide.com.au and EFTM.com.
This is Two Blokes Talking Tech.
All right, the telecommunications... sorry, I've jumped ahead.
That's okay.
Hello, welcome.
The Two Blokes Talking Tech is proudly brought to you by Arlo. Let's not forget Arlo, and they are the brand for you to look at if you're thinking of getting into your home security. You know, if you want to have a little bit more peace of mind at home, to be able to see if things are happening at home, whether it's with a camera, a doorbell, an indoor camera, Arlo Essentials are what you need. And the beauty of the Essential range is they're affordable.
$159 for the Outdoor Essential 2K.
And that connects directly to your Wi-Fi, and it can be set up in minutes. So it's a really good way, a really good on-ramp to your wireless security
Color
at
night
home.
vision.
Yep.
Battery powered. Indoor, outdoor, 2K video,
Yep,
two-way audio, so you can talk to someone who's there. I mean, the list of features is actually quite wild to consider. It's $159.
Punches above its weight a fair bit, I reckon.
Yeah.
But also to the doorbell. I reckon the doorbell, when people get a doorbell, it's a bit of a game changer because it is another security camera, but they're able to speak to people at the door.
Yeah.
They're able to see a 180-degree view, head to toe of the person at the door. So you know if you're talking to a courier or someone from the neighbourhood. And if you also get the Arlo Secure plans, which I highly recommend, you do get a 3-month trial with these cameras. That also gives you the ability to create these smart notifications. So you're getting notifications for people, vehicles, packages, animals, rather than all those other nuisance notifications. You can also set different zones that you want notifications for. So if your camera or your doorbell faces the street, you're not going to get every notification of every car that goes by or every tree that's moving. You can set those zones as well. So I think, and there's an indoor camera as well. Indoor camera, though, comes with a security shield as well, so a privacy shield.
Yep.
So you know when you're home, if that privacy shield is activated, there's no recording happening. You can tell just at a glance whether that camera is working or not, whether it's recording. So I think it gives you, and when you're out, of course, you want that thing to be working to notify you if there's any kind of notification, any kind of movement, and you get that notification on the excellent Arlo Companion app as well. Allows you to set you can arm your system and disarm it as soon as you get home, so you get all those notifications. If you want to check all that out, head to arlo.com.
Everything about tech you never wanted to know. This is Two Blokes Talking Tech.
Well, as I so rudely began to say, the telecommunications industry ombudsman has unsurprisingly revealed that there was a large number of complaints in the last quarter of last year between October and December. Why would that be?
Yeah, I think it starts with a O.
Optus.
Is that right?
Yeah, it starts with an Optus and ends with a November 8. I mean, basically, their entire network went down. So small consumers and small businesses made 14,000 complaints between October and December, an increase of 13.4% compared to the previous quarter, but a 17.9% decrease compared to the last year, which was when the data breach happened. So I wonder whether that... I don't know. I'm wondering whether that has something to do with it. Okay. But it's interesting because the numbers are actually very, very interesting. The TIO received 919 complaints from customers who were affected by the Optus outage.
Yep.
20% of them were small businesses, and rightly so, because they couldn't take payments.
Absolutely.
Most consumers...
Except that barber, remember, she said, I don't know why you need internet to cut hair.
What do you need internet for, to cut hair?
How about paying for that haircut?
Most consumers sought outcomes including credits, a refunded or discounted service, financial compensation, exiting a contract early, or apologies from the telco. So, I'm proud of those 900 people for actually going to the bother, basically.
Yeah. It's a bit of a process.
Letting the TIO know how you feel.
Absolutely right. And why not? That's what they're your rights as a customer. But I think, interestingly, the internet services, complaints about internet services increased, though.
Right.
Wonder where we lead that to. Is that internet services as in... So does this include the NBN too, or just the telco services?
Well,
the telco services
telcos provide the NBN,
yeah, right. So that went up by 23.3%.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And is that like you hear from people saying, look, I get dropouts, and I think even small businesses when they have dramas with their internet connection. If your small business isn't connected, you can have.
But here's the thing: the top 3 issues for complaints about internet services were customer service problems.
Yep.
So not even a service issue, customer service problem, problems with a bill, or inadequate fault testing. Yeah. So basically, you're consistently getting dropouts. You keep saying that to your telco, and they say it's fine. So you
It's
ring the
the
TIO
NBN. They'll say it's the
and
NBN.
say, listen, they haven't even done a fault test, so that's what happens. Significant increases were recorded against complaints having no internet service. That was almost half of people.
That's a problem.
Delays in establishing a service was 22.9%, and having intermittent or service dropouts was 15%. So network outage was the issue with the largest increase, obviously, because of the Optus outage.
Yeah. Well, have you ever made a complaint like this?
Not to the TIO, no.
No. Have you ever had any kind of complaint to anyone? Have you ever complained about something?
Please.
Hey.
Is this our first day?
Okay. Any willing to talk about it?
No, but I've complained for sure.
Yeah. What Trevor's approach to life is, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Is that right, mate? I'm a bit like that too, I've got to say. If you don't let people know...
My biggest complaint was that drama I had with the Mazda and getting them to fix it.
Yes.
And, went to the fair trading over that.
Yep.
But more importantly, it's when you have... We're in a privileged position. So if something goes wrong with something in our world, we normally know the person that can escalate it.
Yeah.
So I don't normally need to go to the TIO.
Yeah.
But I had a caller this week who on the radio on the weekend that had bought a particular tech product and it wasn't working, so they took it back and they just offered them a refund. They didn't offer them a replacement, just a refund. But the refund was less than the price of the replacement product.
I know exactly who you're talking about. I received this email as well, I think.
Well,
is it the same? Is it who we're talking about?
I don't know.
To do with a certain brand of watch?
Yes. Anyway, they're sorted now. They got their refund because I went straight to the company and said, can you sort this out?
I did too.
Yeah, right.
I did too because I think he CC'd us in the same email and I said, listen, I'm tired of receiving these emails. Can you just sort this out for the sake of $50? Hello? Do you want me to give you the 50? Or I said,
seriously.
Can you do something?
It's just amazing that problems can be solved if you find the right person in the tree.
What, mate, here's my gripe, okay? I love helping people
100%
when I can.
Same here.
If someone rings me on the radio and says, listen, I'm having dramas with this, and I said, leave it to me. And like you said, we know exactly who to talk to escalate and get the problem solved.
Yeah.
Here's my problem.
Hear me.
Why do we need to get involved?
And that's why
why the hell aren't customers revered by these companies who they're customers?
That's why I'm excited that TIO is charged with handling customer service complaints, not just network complaints.
Yeah.
So essentially, I see this as empowerment for you. If you've got a problem and they're not giving you the customer service you deserve, and we're talking about a telco, ring the TIO.
Yeah. Absolutely right. And weren't you saying that the TIO, if they have to investigate a complaint, it costs the company money?
Correct.
So say you complain against Telstra and they investigate, it costs Telstra the money.
Telstra has to pay because the TIO is funded by the telcos.
So I think, and a lot of people, and I've advised people of talking about this, if they're if they're getting the runaround by a telco, I advise readers and listeners, I said, you know what? Just drop these three letters,
Telecommunications
TIO,
Industry Ombudsman.
and they will pay attention because they know if it gets to that point, it's going to cost them money, not only money but also reputation. They don't want to be in the figures that the TIO releases quarterly. So I think good on the TIO. It's a shame that there aren't other ombudsman type sort of complaints for other products and other things that we have in our life, or as the people we can contact readily to make these sorts of complaints. But I think companies still need to learn that their customers deserve to be treated with respect and to expedite their problems because they paid their money.
It's not rocket science.
They paid for the product or service, and if they're not getting it, they've got a right to complain about that.
Yeah,
so
it is not
it shouldn't
rocket
have
science.
to take me and Trevor getting involved to have a resolution. If they're coming to us, then shame on you because you should have looked after them. If they're coming to you and me and saying, "Look, I'm not getting any joy," then the company that's a black mark against you. You should have looked after your customer.
100%. Well said, Stephen. We're here to help. Two Blokes Talking Tech.
This is Two Blokes Talking Tech with Trevor Long and Stephen Fennick.
Great to have your company. And
G'day, mate.
I'll do this one then. We'll talk about Apple Carplay. And I want to talk about Petty.
Oh, so that was supposed to be me, was it?
That's
okay,
S.
it says an S. I'm
Stephen.
sorry. I'm
This
sorry.
is like our first show.
You did tread on my Arlo read with
I'm
the TIO.
admitting that.
Come on, mate.
I've thrown you out of kilter.
All right. We're even now.
A young bloke called Zach Simmons was at the Apple Worldwide Developers Conference 4 years ago, maybe 5.
Yep.
He was one of the student scholarship winners, and I met him there. And
Aussie guy.
Aussie kid, yep. Absolutely. He went on to do a bunch of things, but he's also created this app called Petty. P-E-T-T-Y.
P-E-T-T-Y, as in petty officer.
No, as
petty
in petrol.
complaint.
Get some petty.
Petty.
Get some petrol.
I've
never heard anyone refer to
Have you
it as
ever
that.
used that as abbreviation for petrol?
No.
Petty.
No.
But it's petty.
Petty is the app. And
Okay.
the app's existed for a while now.
Right.
But what it does, it draws in all the data from all the states except Victoria. What are they doing?
Get with it.
And allows you to go, right, what's happening with petrol in my area? What's the cheapest price? You can, in the app, you can see a chart of like the last 7 days, 30 days of the price fluctuations, which is great. In the app, you can set your favourites and all that kind of stuff. But now he's updated it to have CarPlay compatibility.
Boom.
Now, the reason this is wild is because that's not easy.
Yeah.
You've got to really meet strict regulations and requirements. Apple won't sign off on just any CarPlay app. It has to be done correctly.
Sure.
But this thing is so much more than just right now. Here's the 3 nearest prices. Right? You can sort. You can filter by petrol types.
Yep.
You can show your favourites versus your closest ones. You can see a map with the petrol stations pinned on them, and then you can click on them and get navigation. Like, it's very good.
So did you reckon he dropped his name to say, listen, I came across with you guys, you know? Did you reckon he would have sort of...
What do you mean?
Do you remember how you said you met him at the Worldwide Development?
Yeah.
Didn't he win some sort of competition to be there? Or
Yeah, scholarship, yeah.
He won a scholarship?
Yeah.
Do you reckon he reminded Apple, said, listen, I was your scholarship winner. Can you look after me?
No, I think he just worked hard and made it the right app.
Of course. I'm just saying. I reckon that would have been favourable on him, the fact that he did win a scholarship.
I don't think the people that review the apps give a rat's.
Okay. But but of course, it can't just be because of that. But
Now,
his app had to be top shelf.
I should say it is a subscription app. Have a
much,
guess
mate?
how much he's charging for this app.
Monthly, yearly?
Go yearly.
$49.
$9.99.
Okay.
Like, that's awesome.
That's great.
So I was thinking about it, like, I don't know, what's a good salary? 80 grand. He would only need to have 8,000 people think this is a great app.
Yeah.
For him to, be doing really well. Like,
Right.
I assume I think he's in his early 20s.
Yep.
But that just shows how easy, it's a terrible thing to say in this context, but it is to potentially do well in an app, because if you find the great thing and you can just get the right amount of money for it from enough people, mate, you're on an absolute winner. Don't have to be a millionaire.
He could have probably charged $19.99.
I've been saying that all week, but I think it's smart to have an entry point. I think it's $1.99 a month or $9.99 a year.
That's smart.
I think it's great. I think it's really smart and
Well priced.
Yeah.
And it's petty.
Petty.
And it's out now.
Petty. Out now. And it works in CarPlay.
Is it just iOS?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's no...
Yeah, he's all in on iOS.
If I'm on Android Auto, I'm not going to get the same...
Well, you also don't.
How does it work?
You also don't need petrol. So
okay, that's true. But how does it work with Android Auto to get included in Android Auto?
No idea.
Everyone just do their best.
It's the same. I think it's the same. It's got to
Is
be
it like
strict regulations and things you've got to meet.
Well, that's a nice segue to CarPlay.
Of course,
because
yes.
I think the beta versions of iOS
The beta
17.4 has dropped. Right?
Yes.
Are you still a beta man?
Yeah, man.
You got your beta.
I'm 100% beta.
Now? Okay, you are.
I think so.
You got CarPlay on your Cooper, haven't you?
Yep.
So you will know then that
this is interesting. Right,
iOS
okay,
17.4 has some improvements to CarPlay. Now, according to some...
17.4.
There you go. So according to the latest update, there are some features coming to CarPlay from when you run this update. So if you've got an iPhone and CarPlay and 17.4, which is what will be released in about a month?
Probably, yeah.
But what does the beta come out a month, 6 weeks beforehand?
It's weeks normally, yeah.
Okay. So what you're going to get is you'll be able to display the vehicle's rear view camera feed, which is pretty cool. So you're still in CarPlay, because you know when you do your rear view camera, it takes you out of CarPlay, and then when you're finished, it puts you back into CarPlay.
What's the problem with that?
Nothing. But I'm just saying, with this new setting, the rear view camera feed will be within CarPlay. So you're not leaving CarPlay.
Yep.
Now, for EVs, the app is also going to give you battery level, charging status, time remaining until the battery's full. So that'll happen anyway on your dashboard anyway, won't you?
Yeah, but I think what's key there is if that becomes available within CarPlay, it means that developers like map apps like Waze can tap into that information and therefore utilise it in their mapping.
That's going
to be the big part.
It'll also give you your air pressure of the vehicle's tyres. That's pretty cool. If that's part of
your
car
output.
Some interesting updates from CarPlay right there as well.
Very nice. Well, It's always good to see progressions in the technology, and it is occurring at a rapid pace. If
it wasn't, we wouldn't have a podcast.
What would we do? Something else.
Talk about movies.
This is Two Blokes Talking Tech.
We do it all thanks to the great people at Netgear, netgear.com.au. And if you jump on netgear.com.au now, enter your email address, sign up, you get a 10% promo code for a one-time use on a single item. Now, maximum savings is $150, but I'm telling you, that's $150 off a $1,500 system. So well worth looking at, because the Orbi range is what you should be looking at for your home. Orbi comes in a whole range of sizes and shapes, because not every home is the same. So you can find the best Orbi for you by answering a few simple questions. And of course, there's Orbis for on the go, like the Wi-Fi 6E 5G Orbi. There's the new Wi-Fi 7, which we're all connected to here at the office, because it offers superior Wi-Fi range and speed.
Just going to download a few movies.
Get on it. And then there's a bunch of great speed that you can get through the Orbi mesh Wi-Fi systems. All the details, including all their Wi-Fi products, available at netgear.com.au.
This is Two Blokes Talking Tech.
Now, Stephen, I have had a robot lawnmower in my backyard for, 3 years or so. And that was the WORX Landroid, the one that you needed to run a wire around the yard, and it just went off, and as soon as it bumped virtually into the wire, it would retreat and keep going around.
Yeah.
Random, but it would work beautifully. I've got to tell you, it does a great job. My concern now, looking at what I've had since, which is I've now got the EcoVax Goat, which is not wired, but you drive it around to teach it where the boundary is, and from there it does a consistent mowing in lines, which I utterly love. Because you know that it's done it.
It's not, so the WORX is random.
WORX is very random. So now I'm testing the new WORX Landroid Vision. Now, it's called Vision for an obvious reason. It can see.
It's got a camera.
Mate, it's wild. This thing, I picked it up, took it out the side of my house, press go, and it mows the lawn. It gets to the gutter and goes, well, there's no grass here, turn around. Gets to the driveway, oh, no grass here, turn around. So basically, it just finds its way.
Okay.
Obviously, in that situation, it couldn't find its way home because there was a fence in between, but because I'd put it out there. But it essentially, you put it down, you've got the base station, you press go, and it goes out. The first time it goes out, it goes and finds the edge. So it goes looking for the edge, and it kind of teaches itself broadly about the yard. But it's not mapping. I need to be clear. It's not doing what a robot vacuum does and creating a map.
Okay.
From then, it still just goes quite randomly. But, mate, the fact that you can now buy a robot lawnmower that does not require anything more than plug it into the power point, sit its base station down, and press go, link it to an app and stuff. It's brilliant.
How much?
$3,000.
Okay. That's up there with sort of your top shelf.
Well, it's the same as the EcoVax Goat. G1.
Okay.
So price-wise, if you want a robot lawnmower without a wire, you need to spend that kind of money.
But there are still they still have the model with the wire? They still sell that model?
You can still buy that.
The Landroid?
Yep. And look, the only problem I've got now with the wire, having used the opposite, is I feel like it wears a path. So you think about, like, I was looking at the carpet thinking, is there a worn path here? Because, I've walked a certain way. If you look at the park near your place and there's a place people walk, it wears a path. Of course, So where the robot turns on the wire, it does wear a path. Okay. And especially if you have a thick thatched grass, it really can start digging up. And so I think the randomness of the EcoVax and the Vision model from WORX allow you to have less of that kind of wear. Because what I do with the EcoVax, for example, is you can adjust the angle, so it does lines, right, stripes. And in the app, you can go, I want the stripes to be vertical. So what I do is every week or 3, I change the angle slightly so that it's never doing the same, turn all the time.
Keep
in the
it
same
on its
spots.
toes, mate.
Absolutely.
And the quality of the cut does a good job, the lawn?
Does a great job, as good as the previous
right to the
one.
Edges, gets close to the edge.
I don't think it does as good on the edges as you can do with the wire. But you never get a great finished cut on the edges. You always got to do the whippersnippering, so it doesn't matter.
Even with the goat, I got to
run the whippersnipper out
at Mum's house, and I got to get the whippersnipper out to do the edges.
Oh, you poor baby.
Yeah, no, it's all good, mate. Part of the service, mate.
But isn't it wild that we've come this far in just a few years? That's essentially what's happened. In just a few years, we've gone from having to run out a wire connected to power to just having to plug it in and go.
My
think
question
it's awesome.
is, when are they going to have a robot whippersnipper?
It sounds like a dangerous thing.
You reckon?
Yeah.
But if it can detect the edge there, it's facing an edge. It's facing a surface. It's not going to
just worry about a robot going around with a flicking thing. You know, does it miss that there's a little cat there or something?
It might sort of contain it within a certain shape. You know what I mean? Like the whippersnipper does a circle.
My question is, how lazy is you're not willing to go out and spend 10 minutes walking around the edge of the yard?
No problem at all. But I'm thinking someone has to invent that. Someone has to make or incorporate that feature into the Landroid or the Goat to say, right, it's done the mowing, and now this other feature on the side. Imagine sort of it goes, it's got a little blade that comes out of the side or goes back and forth and does the edges.
I don't
It's not beyond the realms of possibility. Like I reckon it'd be possible. I reckon in some lab somewhere they're thinking, yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, I think in some lab somewhere there's a bloke with a toe that's missing because his little robot came up to him and started whippersnippering under his feet.
There'd be like a little cover to it, so you won't have an exposed blade or anything. Like just like the whippersnipper's got like a little hood over the.
Not on the front, it doesn't.
Well, underneath where it does the work is where all that happens. So, anyway, that's my suggestion. I would buy that if that was available.
All right.
Or review it at the very least.
I'll let you know when it becomes available. I expect we'll see more advances in this space over the coming years, as we already have in just the last couple.
Everything about tech you never wanted to know. This is Two Blokes Talking Tech.
You know, I do love the fact that some companies go to a lot of trouble to design their products not to look like tech products.
Yeah.
And I think a great example is D-Link's Aquila Pro.
Yep.
This is a mesh router,
system.
and it looks like that's the last thing it looks like is a router. It's got this beautiful curved
If you walked in
design.
someone's house,
you think, where'd you buy that?
It's like it's got wings. It's like it's about to take off or something.
Yeah.
You'd say, what is that?
This smooth. I think, what is that? It's on my router. It's a mesh router. So similarly, it connects to your modem, and you place one or two. There's a 2-pack or a 3-pack available, and it creates a mesh system, a Wi-Fi 6 mesh system as well. And depending on the size of your home, you can get up to 650 square metres of coverage. So if you're living in a massive joint like Trevor,
oh, come on,
650 metres, 465 metres for the 2-pack, 650 for the 3-pack. And even in a multi-storey home, providing really fast and reliable Wi-Fi, and it is powered by AI. AI Wi-Fi optimizer, AI mesh optimizer, AI traffic optimizer. So basically, AI Wi-Fi optimizer, it's kind of like the traffic cop, find the best channel for every device in your network. AI mesh optimizer has the auto path selection, and also has what they call self-healing capabilities to head off any potential network issues you have. Right. So they're ahead of the game. And the AI traffic optimizer means you get uninterrupted 4K, 8K streams as well. And it also has the AI-based QoS, which is short for quality of service.
Of course.
So it gives you really smooth. So worst thing that can happen is you're watching 4K and then you see the little circle. I think, got buffering. You don't want that. That'll just stop you in your tracks. It'll take you out of the movie. But with their quality of service, you can see that won't happen. It gives you really smooth 4K, even 8K streaming with this as well. So the D-Link M30 AX3000 is the actual model number there. Pricing, 2-pack $399.95. The 2-pack $399.95. 3-pack $549.95. And so if you're really keen on improving your Wi-Fi, but you don't want to put routers everywhere and blinking lights and all that sorts of things, you can make this blend into your background.
What ever happened to you in your digitising your movie library?
Still in the process. I'm talking to someone now about getting a player that can ingest the movies and store them as well. We're in discussions. But are you sort of implying that I get rid of all my discs?
That's what.
Yeah. Well, eventually. Yeah. I'd love to reclaim that space. But I still think, and it still offers the quality of a disc too.
Yeah.
So the quality of a disc versus streaming,
right.
We've had this discussion. Yes. Disc is always better
that's
than
why
stream.
You mentioned 8K streaming. So I was thinking,
8K streaming. You know what? I've yet to try 8K streaming. I haven't done any, although I've watched some 8K YouTube.
Right.
But I've never had to stream. Oh, I suppose it's streaming when it's coming into my television, I guess. But it's always been pretty smooth. But I think once we see more 8K content, 4K streaming we do every day, right?
Yeah,
so you want to have that smooth as silk. But no, to answer your question, I'm in the process of trying to, like, what I would do, I wouldn't get rid of every disc I've got.
No.
I'd still like to keep some up there. But there are a lot of movies that I'm thinking, I'll have that as a file. I don't need that to be sitting out there. I reckon I could reduce my shelf space, I reckon, by about 75%.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's big change. But working on it because I just need more places to put my Lego. If I'm to be honest, I had Aaron help me put another shelf in my theatre. You know, in my theatre, in the corner where the equipment rack is, above there is a bit of space. So there's a shelf in the corner.
There's a bit of space. Let's take it.
No, there's a shelf in the corner now where the big Venator, the big Starship, is in that corner now. Yeah. So doing my best, but there's all that. I've got 3 shelves next to each other that are just chock-a-block full of DVDs and Blu-rays and 4Ks. But I need to reclaim some space there, but I don't want to reduce the quality. So that's why, and this will be the topic of a story on Tech Guide and a discussion on the podcast of the quality that you can ingest those movies into your library. So it's basically you connect and you just sort of say, okay, what do you want to watch? And you can literally scroll through a library and say, okay, and it brings up the thumbnail, the synopsis, the character, the actors and all the cast and all that, and just plays the movie.
But you want it to be network based so that you can
of course,
do it on any
TV.
It
is, of course, network based. But again, and to answer, I know why you brought that up, because you want to have the 4K streaming and eventually 8K streaming. And that's why you need a good system, and the D-Link Aquila Pro can supply that.
Well circled back.
There you have it,
Stephen. Well done.
There you have it.
Everything about tech you never wanted to know. This is Two Blokes Talking Tech.
All right, that's a wrap for episode 619. Thank you to Arlo, thank you to Netgear, and thank you to you for your support of Two Blokes Talking Tech. And
great to have you with us.
All of the other amazing shows you get within this unbelievable value channel.
Amazing. Haven't heard of a better one.
No one has pointed anything out.
No.
So we're going to keep the claim going.
Absolutely, until we get a legal letter or something. I don't know.
I mean, this show, you know what this is? Bigger than Joe Rogan.
Okay, I don't
Is
know
he going to send me his numbers? Where's his numbers? Hey?
Yeah.
Where are his numbers?
And his shows are long. How long are they?
Boring as
They're like 3.5 hours, some shows. I'm thinking, I need to take a day off.
Unless you're really invested in the person, it's a hard no from me.
What are we up to? Just over an hour?
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah.
Get what you need, get out, like.
He's just re-signed with Spotify, but non-exclusive. So Joe Rogan stuff will be coming back to Apple and YouTube and stuff.
Mate, what sort of dollars? Can we get a deal like that or what? What sort of dollars
I'm
are we talking
available
about?
for 1/10 of his money.
Mate.
Because he's on 250 mil.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
You're right, eh?
We've had this.
We need to increase our
before.
audience somehow. How do we do that?
Tell your friends, folks.
Tell your friends.
That's all we're asking. The blokes just want some millions.
Is that too much to ask?
What are you doing?
We want a multi-million-dollar deal? Is that too much to ask?
Don't you want success for people?
We've been toiling at this for a while. We deserve it, I think.
Toiling.
Anyway, it's not a toil, mate. It's a pleasure, is what I should say.
See you next week, mate.
Bye-bye.
This is Two Blokes Talking Tech with Trevor Long and Stephen Fennick.